Reptilians and crypto crackheads, it's still Tuesday, April 27th, 2021, and I still have 20 chicks chirping, and you're about to get Timified once again. Ethereum update, new viewers. My channel helps you not buy coins after YouTubers talk about it to have it dump on you, and my channel teaches you how to overcome the number one mistake I know you're making, which is you're buying and praying, you're scared to sell. And my channel helps you understand that you may actually make a lot more money during ranges. So if you want 𝐿𝐼, you sell 𝐿𝐼, a portion of your bag. See my description section, library videos, 20 bag video. If you like Cardano, you sell Cardano. Anyway, if you like what you see here and you happen to subscribe, I need you to leave me a comment. Let me know whether you want to be a cryptilian or a crypto crackhead. The rules are that you have to choose your crypto pronoun. They are both gender neutral. I haven't decided if they're gender fluid, but some people have tried to go that way. And yeah, so it's pretty cool crypto pronouns. Let me know what you chose, and let's get rolling. So Ethereum. So exactly as I predicted, although I didn't make one prediction, right? So I typically try not to make a single prediction. Anyway, in my most recent ETH video, I very specifically said, if price even gets, doesn't even have to close a wick. If it even gets, no, I think I said it even lower, didn't I? I said it might stop there. Let me look at the day. Yeah, I think I said if it even gets a bit above 24,500 or 2,500, that Ethereum will the most likely situation in that scenario, because at the time price had not crossed that 2450 or 2500 mark. I said the most likely scenario is that it will ignore this area of resistance, and the most likely scenario is it will cross this trend line, make a higher high, and my guess was that it would be between 2650 above that and 2750. So that ended up playing out. It did break this, it did get above this wick, and what I guessed was most probable did end up playing out. What I guessed was most probable for Bitcoin did not play out, but I think the third most probable for Bitcoin ended up playing out per my weekend guesses. That's why I don't just predict one thing. It's kind of silly to predict a single thing, right? Unless it's generally down, as I was guessing before anybody else on YouTube, essentially. So now that it's happened, we have a different top three to think about. Okay, so let's think about what are our next top three to think about, and where do we start? Where do cryptilians and crypto crackheads start in terms of their analysis? On the weekly. Always start with the weekly. All right, so what could happen? Shit, actually a lot could happen. Ethereum might literally replicate this. It might close all candles above this origin line and just inch up, making new higher highs every week, which is kind of what I think Bitcoin might end up doing, but not above its origin line. So I think this is the most probable because it would coincide with what I think is most probable for Bitcoin. See my previous video I just released today. I think this might be the most probable, but happening here. So it could, keep wicking below, right? So closing candles here, wick below, close candle here, wick below. And this could happen until June 1st or second week of June. And then what happens is, as it's wicking, the weekly 10 gets there. The weekly 10 EMA. New viewers, if you don't know what that means, look in my description section library videos. I tell you what that means. And the 21 is coming up here. And what type of play, it sounds like a football play, but what I've been saying in my altcoin videos, this is a very common play. What's the name for it that I give? A squeeze play. I think it could essentially, even though it's technically will have broken this, so it's not technically a squeeze, but these will converge just like I think Bitcoin's will, but lower down here. And it'll squeeze price up. And once that happens, perhaps in June, I think Ethereum is going to fly without any 20% corrections, to 10K. I think Ethereum will ignore this. And if it does correct, 20% or 15%, it'll pass it, come check it for 2 weeks as support, and then continue. That actually might happen. but I still think it's just going to ignore it and maybe wick here on a week, but come back up and just keep marching. I honestly think, yeah. So, and in order to do that, though, Ethereum does need to allow its 21 to catch up, and going sideways will make that happen, right? So another month and a half of sideways could easily happen, and I kind of think that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Therefore, I think this might be the most probable. So specifically, to recap what I think is most probable, is Ethereum essentially, making newer highs slightly, perhaps almost every week or every other week, but closing candles specifically above this ascending, dang, that chick is loud. Hey, shut up! Above this ascending origin line here, okay? That's my first most probable. Second most probable is that Ethereum, this turns into a wick, and Ethereum starts slowly, without crashing necessarily, or it could go fast, but either way, fast or slow, doesn't matter. I think this is second most probable, that it comes down, wants to check its 21 on a weekly wick, then come up and close specifically above its 10. Specifically closing above its 10. And then perhaps coming up above and writing and then lifting off. Something to that effect. But specifically, I think it would touch its 21 a little later, maybe around and honestly, that would make sense because that is around the time the 21 would hit this very strong support line of 1950. So the trajectory of this would be, the week of May 10th. So, and that's the week I did it. So I think the week of May 10th is when Ethereum could wick down on a week, not a horrible week, but it close above the 10 around 2100. I think it'll wick down to 1950 or so, and then march up, which also would allow the price to touch its 21. It would allow the 10 and the 20 to converge, and it essentially be more in a more aggressive squeeze play. So I think that might be the second most probable. Third most probable, I'm actually kind of doing this on the fly. Ethereum's so bullish that I do know what third most probable is. Third most probable is similar to the second most probable, but it actually wicks below its 21 and closes above the 21 and below the 10. And if that happens, I don't think it'll ride this line at all. I think it'll fly up, and that should still take us to June. Enough sideways movement for Bitcoin to also move sideways, per my previous video. I think, is that the third most likely? I don't know. Ethereum likes to hit that line. That might be the second most likely. Let's see what Ethereum did last time. Or what it's done recently. Yeah, I would keep that as third most. I think something like this might happen. Yeah. Something like this, but with maybe a longer wick like that. So, and then it pops off. Yeah, I think a similar formation, but with a longer wick like this could happen. For second most likely. And then third most likely is it comes down to wick past its 21, closes above its 21, but below the 10, and then screams up. So those are my three most likely scenarios. And one of them involves it breaking its origin line, but not screaming up. I would say a what if is that within the next, before the end of May, that Ethereum really starts screaming up towards 4,700. I think that is honestly, that's a strong what if. That's almost a top most probable. But because it's been living above its 10 or its 21 so long, I think I think each of those situations of touching its 21 in a very bullish fashion, but with a lot of sideways and up movement, like ants marching up a wall type of deal. I think each of those is more probable than a straight fly up to 2,600 before it comes correcting hard back down to this line, in which the weekly 21 by that point would be up here, something like that, and it could see a quick and aggressive 40% correction. I think, and if it does fly up there first, I think it would come back down this line pretty fast. Because it just needs to touch its 21. It's going to. And it's going to happen before July. But it could happen in late June. I mean, it could fly up first. So actually, I think that is a strong what if. A second what if for our fifth, thing to look out for is that Ethereum does something between between closing above here, riding the line, and between hitting here and screaming down. I think it could literally just close 1 week up, then come right back down to test this line, then ride it a little bit, and wick down to touch its 21. I think something like that could happen. So so if it did scream up, that would pull its 21 up faster, right? So here, let me clean this up. All right. Yeah. So in this case, this what if it really did come up about to 3,600 or so, halfway through, somewhere around there, right? I'm not picking exact numbers because it's in no man's land in terms of my technical analysis. But it could scream up over the next couple weeks, and that would pull up the 21 to about here, and the 10 to about here. And that would still allow them to converge, and then price could then go like this, wick past, but close above the. I strongly suspect if either of those situations where it goes halfway between or all the way up, that every single week of Ethereum will close above this line in those two scenarios. But it could wick past, touch this 21, come back down to 2,600. And then it could take off pretty fast. And honestly, if it did something like this would allow both Bitcoin and Ethereum to correct the fastest and start charging up faster than any other scenario. Because it's kind of the halfway scenario, best of both worlds. I think it would allow things to go up faster. So if you want your altcoins to start flying, which honestly, I think altcoins might start performing pretty well here. As long as, it's very clear that Bitcoin's not going to go below 50K, which I think is the top three most probable situations it does not. I think altcoin season will continue here rather aggressively. I just think this could be glorious either way. So even if Ethereum did this, I don't think the market would hesitate for more in a couple weeks, and then Ethereum would really start screaming up. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Ethereum could easily hit 10K well before August. Shit, it could hit it before June. I mean, wait, before July. So I really think a 10K Ethereum, or Ethereum has hit the 10K level and perhaps gone down from there. But I really predict that we will have seen a 10K Ethereum before August 1st. So in June or July. I would guess July specifically. But it could happen in late June. That could happen. I really think it's going to be pulled up to this line because it always has been. Right? It essentially gets sucked up to these origin lines and then sucked back down. But if that happens, you can expect, potentially like a 40% correction easily. Yeah, you could expect a 50% correction. Or it could just move sideways again. Without doing that. But still, you would still have like a $5,300 Ethereum in August at the lowest, and then it would charge back up. So that is what I'm seeing for Ethereum. Honestly, you know what, folks? I know this might make me sound crazy, but I'm telling you right now, even with another set of 100 plus days of sideways action, Ethereum is on track to pass 30K this year. That is mathematically sound. Will it hit that? No. But as of now, it is on track to pass 30K. That is true. These origin lines are parallel. They work. Now, is that a good price target? I'm not as confident of that because it has not seen a full 2 bull runs yet. That is my guess of what the next top would be. And it's a lot easier to guess tops when you had 2 previous tops. You just freaking make a line, right? And it has a, would that third point, guess be very predictable? It's still a guess, but it's a more statistically sound guess, right? So this is not a statistically probable situation. However, I believe it is accurate to say mathematically, Ethereum right now is on track to hit above 30K. before January 1st, 2021, or 2022, before January 1st, 2022. So I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum on the chart. It looks really good. Really good. Yeah. I wish I would have listened to all those, YouTubers about Ethereum. Yeah, I think Ethereum could lead the entire bull run. It might interchange with Bitcoin a few times if it does do that, but I think Ethereum has a chance of being the coin to watch the entire year. And if it doesn't end up being the coin to watch the entire year, because Bitcoin could take a turn like at the last, from October on. So Bitcoin could steal the show as it races up to $326,000, which is my end of year guess for the top. But yeah, I still think Ethereum has a great chance of being the coin to watch the entire year. So my channel will cover it exclusively on a short video, at least 3 days a week. And you all just got Timified. I will do a very short altcoin video with only 10 coins. See you later.